Alrighty, on the songbook, let's stand together.
Just leave this off for now.
177, great
Off.
is thy
And then,
faithfulness.
Oh, that's you.
Number 177. Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever will be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Summer and winter and time and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is thy faithfulness, is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thy own dear presence to shelter and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow. Blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, their mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
And he is faithful. Amen. All the time. Isn't he good? Oh, well, good to have you here this evening. Got some folks gone, and I know the Langs, we're going to try to be here tonight, and their daughter is flying in at 7, Robin, so they're not going to be here. And I just want to say one thing on prayer requests. We're not going to be taking them up unless there's another emergency, but Clarence Williams, they found out he has a lymphoma, and they really they covet your prayers, amen. So keep him in your prayers, amen. And I want you to think tonight, even the boys and girls. Now, I've been blessed in the past. We've had some boys and girls brag on God. And tonight, if you got a testimony tonight, you want to thank God for something, tonight's the night to do it. Amen. It's just, it's always a good time. But tonight, it's just a time of testifying. Amen. So, amen. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for your goodness. And, Lord, you've been good to us. And I know there's some gone already out of state. And some are sick. We got some home with the croupy crud. And that's a place to be if you got the croupy crud right now. But Father, we're here, and Lord, we really want to thank you for your goodness, for who you are. And tonight, Father, you're so good. You're unchangingness, that Father, just your steadfastness in that area, that you never leave us and you don't change. And Father, we do. But there's so many things, God, that I could brag on you even now about, Lord. I thank you for being so good to us. And for myself, I speak myself, Lord, I just thank you for being good to me. And I pray you bless the service greatly and encourage our hearts. I pray that as people do testify and do brag on, Father, your goodness, that it would encourage the hearts of the saints. And Father, we just ask that in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
All right, let's sing number 191. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Almost. Wait a minute, wait for me. When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, singles one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done. On the last. So amid the conflict, whether great or small, do not be discouraged, God is over all. He'll attend, and comfort give you to your journey's end. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God hath done. Brother Burroughs.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Amen. And that'll work. I'll tell you, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read a portion of Scripture, Psalm 34. Why don't we go there just a minute? And what we're going to do is we're going to open it up. Amen. We've done this before, and I know we got folks gone and everything else, and some home sick. But I encourage you to brag on God. You know, it said he inhabits the praises of Israel, and I believe he'll inhabit ours. And what does that mean? Well, he shows up. God inhabits. He's there. He's in the presence of them praises. And I'll tell you, it's a sweet thing to sit there and just talk about God's goodness to you. You know, and you think, well, I'm really going through the trials. Well, we always have something to praise God about. And I encourage you to do that. Psalm 34 is actually my life text is in here, and that's verse 6. He says, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. Isn't that good? Who is he boasting in? The Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. I tell you what, if you'll just brag on God, it'll encourage people. Maybe you got a prayer request that's been answered in your day. Maybe it's recently even. Brag on God. He says, oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. Think about that. David's not content just to magnify God on his own. He wants to pull us all in. And, of course, I've preached on this passage several times. But you know what? I'm not going to preach on it now. I will if you don't. If we don't have enough, I'll preach on it again. Amen. But he said, I sought the Lord, and he heard me, delivered me from all my fears. They looked on him, and they looked unto him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. Listen, you look to God for help, it'll lighten you. It'll perk you up. It'll cheer you up. Amen. Yeah, that's it. Amen. And they were not ashamed. If you look to God for help, you'll never be ashamed. Amen. Amen. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all of his troubles. I'm going to stop there. And here's the thing. I'm going to stop there. And I want to open it up at this time. And even if y'all want to testify up front, she can interpret. I'll talk to out of this mic. I'm going to turn mine off now. And here's the thing, if you do use the microphone, please, people are at home and they like to listen, and they'll, my mic is off now, so you can turn it on. Just please get it close. It's got to be, pretend that my hand's the mic. You got to have it a thumb away from your mouth, okay? And that'll, don't worry. I know what happens is it goes like this as we talk. That microphone, as soon as it gets a certain distance away, it just cuts out completely. It doesn't fade away, it just is gone. That's just how it operates. So who would like to maybe testify and brag on God today? Amen. Brother Silas? Oh, okay. Silas first. Get you. We'll work on one side to start with. So if you're over here in this area, so Brother Hall doesn't have to, amen. Go ahead, brother. Silas Brakefield.
Yes.
Here, go ahead.
Well, I got a lot to praise the Lord about.
Amen.
I was saved, it'll almost be 10 years ago,
Amen.
June 3rd, 2012. And I just feel like I haven't been through many trials. You know, I feel like God's been so good to me. I know my family's a burden. And I know I got a few family members that are on drugs, but I'm faithful. Main thing is I'm faithful as long as they see me and watch my steps and watch my talk, and that'll encourage them maybe one day to get saved.
Amen.
And anyway, my mind is a million places, but I just want to thank God for all He's provided for me, my health. I'm got a little cold right now, but He's been so good to me, and my mind is blank. You're going to have to come back to me.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to have to
Amen.
come back.
Well, once you get on the camera, you know, it gets a little. Anybody else over here? Brother Wayne. Brother Wayne. Yes, sir.
Well, the Lord's certainly been good to me for many, many years.
Amen.
Appreciate, first of all, my salvation. I was saved when I was 18 years old, and telling you how long ago that was, but it was a long time.
Amen.
But anyway, blessings for this year. He's sure been good to me. He brought me through a heart attack, but
Amen.
heart attack's no fun, but I did okay. I'm
Amen.
all right now. And but my greatest blessing is right here.
Amen.
He gave me Joyce. She's such a blessing to me. Don't know what I'd do without her.
Amen.
And so anyway, you all pray for us, and we just need folk to be faithful.
Amen.
Stay in the battle.
Amen. You're right.
I'm going to die on the battlefield.
Amen, brother. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. And please don't rob. Don't just think about it. God's pleased. God wants to hear you boast on Him. Just think of that. You say, "Oh, I don't know." You say, "Maybe I'll freeze up." Don't worry about that. Just start bragging on God. Amen. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to say thank God for what He's did for me, what He's kept after me for quite a few years before.
Amen.
I had a father and mother, both of I was raised in a Christian home.
Amen.
And they took us to church every Sunday, whatever. And I went for years, and a lot of these two women there that I remember, I never did forget them. So they was just like mothers to me. And one of them, you didn't talk to her 3 minutes, just she just asked you about the Lord. And so I kept putting it off. I know they were talking to me at times. Well, I grew into a teenager, and I still didn't go to get saved. And I went into the service. And, of course, my mom, when I left there, she brought me a little Bible that you take this way and keep it with you. So
Amen.
that's what I did. I have it with me, and I took it. And well, I was dating this girl, too, though, so I went in service, and I know we was going to get married, so I saved enough money and bought rings. And when I called her up, I said, "We make some plans, and we're going to get married." She said, "Fine, you know." Well, it's going to college, and I went down there and proposed to her. She took the rings with me, thought I'd been saving money for a year buying them rings. She said she'd marry me. Well, I went back to there in Michigan, where you fellas from, And the next morning, I got to look at the bulletin board that had me on there to go to Japan. So I had called her up, so we're going to have to get this, hurry up and get married if we're going to get married. So she said, well, please, you come down, we'll go. So we did, and we got married. And I went to, I had to leave and went to Japan. And the thing there, I told Brother Bruce when at that time, first time I walked off that base, I didn't get maybe 100, maybe 150 feet. I know there's two guys, or sometimes I think it might could have been three, that handed me a tract. And I kind of got on. I was shouldn't have said it, but I did. I was one of them guys that I'm about 10,000 miles away, and I still can't get rid of it. So that bothered me. I didn't keep that tract. I don't know. I don't know what happened to it, but it stayed with me, what I'd said and to them. Anyway, when I got back, we went with the Dover, Delaware, and we had an oldest child there, and then I come home, and after I got out, we was up here moving into Mason. I guess it's the time, no, we moved to Norwood. Anyway, when we did move to Mason, my wife, she was saved when we got married. But I never got saved, And even here in Mason, she kept the children. I had another child, and both of them, she'd get them ready on Sunday morning and take them to church. And asked me if I want to go. I said, well, not today, Well, it's one day. Now, this is what hit me. She was getting them ready on the Sunday morning, and the oldest child, he started crying. She said, now you shut up so we go to church. He said, why should I go when Daddy don't go? Now, that got to me. Well, I didn't go that Sunday, but next Sunday I was in church. And the next Wednesday night, they had a revival, and next Wednesday night, that's when I got saved.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
At that time, I've been saved ever since. Believe me, I have. I want to thank God for keeping with me. He kept people talking to me and everything, and that I finally wound up getting saved. And I can't thank him enough.
Amen. He's long-suffering, amen.
Yes,
Praise the Lord for that. Amen.
I'd like to read a psalm that's been very encouraging me through the years, Psalm 100.
Yes.
Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all you land. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence and sing. Know you that the Lord, he is God, is he that has made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. Now he said, come before me with joyful noise.
Amen.
I do have the joy. I don't think he'd want much of my singing, but I do have joy. And it's to know ye that the Lord, he is God, he that has made us. There's no getting around.
Amen.
He's the one that created it, and not ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture.
Amen.
I'm thankful that I'm a sheep.
Amen.
Now the shepherd chooses his sheep.
Yeah.
Shepherd chose,
Amen.
and I am eternally grateful. Very thankful.
Amen.
It says, enter his gate, thanks, thankful, blessed his name. I have so much to be thankful for. It certainly blessed me, cared for me. And it says, for the Lord is good, mercy, everlasting. And I do know that mercy. Oh, and his truth endure all generations. Don't stop with us.
Yeah.
It didn't start with us,
Yeah.
and it won't end.
Well, that's good.
All
That'll work.
generations.
That'll work right there.
And I'm also thankful for a second chance.
Amen.
Because I know that I was called when I was 13. I did not respond. But he gave me a second chance, and I did.
Amen.
And if there's a young person here receive Christ now,
Amen.
because there's problems in the life that I still deal with between when I was 13, when I received the Lord. Still have to deal. He didn't take away the consequence of my life. I do thank him for the mercy
Amen.
and the grace. I'm also very thankful for my
Amen. Praise the Lord. Amen. Amen. Yeah, if you ladies want to testify now. Amen.
Well, let me tell you, I got a lot to be thankful for.
Amen.
So
Tell
much. Been saved over 25 years now, and can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Sound good.
So back in 1996, I was kind of living a wayward life, doing things I shouldn't do, and I don't want to say much about that, but I like to say that one day I almost woke up dead.
Yeah.
I almost lifted up my eyes in hell, and that was when I decided, okay, it's time to get saved. Enough of that, so the Lord saved me. And for over 25 years, let me tell you, there's been some ups and downs, some trials, but God's got me through all of them. One thing I like to do now, knowing that God will get you through, if I'm going through some trial, like when I had that wound vac attached to me not too long ago and
Yeah.
stuff, I like to look ahead of time, this was back in July, I guess. So I was looking forward to September and October. By that time, God will have gotten me through it, and it kind of helps you to get through things, because there's going to be a time when you're going to be through the trials. God's going to get you through them, and that helps me. I do want to publicly thank a couple guys. Got the microphone.
Yeah.
Brother Silas, he's been such a blessing to me. This guy, you call on him, and he's there for you.
Amen.
He's helped me get out of some predicaments and stuff. And
Amen.
Brother Silas, thank you for all that you do for me and stuff. Love you, brother.
Amen.
Brother Jack Schuler, he's got me through my equipment's been broken down a few times.
Amen.
He's got some expertise, man. This guy he's so helpful. We're almost related. I don't want to get into that, but he's a good dear
We're
brother.
almost related too. He doesn't know we're almost.
So, Brother Jack, thank you for everything you
Amen.
do for me and stuff. Appreciate that. And I can't tell you how thankful I am to have my son Cody with me here tonight.
Amen. Yeah.
He's been doing
sure.
so good lately.
Amen.
Been sober, I guess, over a year now, and
Praise the Lord.
working
Amen.
and stuff. It's just blessing me so much.
Amen. Yeah.
And I
Praise
say
the
I love
Lord.
all you guys. Thankful for the church, Pastor. Thankful for your leadership and stuff. And,
Hey, I love you, buddy. Amen.
thanks everybody.
And
Appreciate
I'd go play you chess. I'm just afraid I'm going to lose. I tell you. He's invited me over to play chess, but that's good. I know he gave his testimony here before, but were you witness to before you got in the car accident? So he was witness to before, but he got in that real bad car accident, and that's why he's paralyzed. But it's like John Green used to testify. His wife was paralyzed, but there was a day when he thanked the Lord for that wheelchair. And one of these days, you'll be thanking God for the wheelchair, that it took that, but you got saved. Amen. When you get to glory, you'll be walking. You'll be running. I bet you we'll have to take a little while for Rick to slow down. Okay, go ahead, Hunter. If you want to testify, go ahead, buddy. Praise the Lord. Amen. This will be close to your mouth. It won't be able to hear you now. Real close, yep. Pretend like you're just about ready to lick a lollipop. Or ice cream
I'm thankful for a lot of things, and I'm thankful that I'm living, that I got saved by God, and also, Ida, I'm glad I got to live with her because she's the one who took us here.
Amen. Well, that'll work right there now. I call her Mama G for a reason. That's a good testimony. He's good. He said he's glad to be alive. If you couldn't hear that, and he is glad that, he got saved, and we're glad you got saved too, buddy. And then he said he's glad that Dina took him in. Boy, that's good stuff right there. Go ahead, honey. Close to your mouth. There you go.
That I can live with my aunt, and that I'm here, and that I have a bed. There's other people out that don't have stuff, and I do.
Amen. The Lord's blessed you, didn't he? Give you a nice, do they feed you good over there? Yeah, a thumbs up. Amen. Amen. And I'll tell you a little secret. Sometimes when I give her your aunt smoked pork shoulder, she hides it in the fridge. Okay? So just look around the fridge a little farther. I'm sorry, I couldn't pass up on that one. All right. Anybody else? Hey, don't think you say, yeah, Miss Joyce over here, brother. Yeah, don't think, sometimes preachers don't testify. I preach and testify all the time, so I won't, but I'll do that another day. But amen.
Well, first, I want to thank the Lord for being saved.
Amen.
And for having great grandparents that taught me the right way to go.
Amen.
And then I want to thank you, Brother Bill, as well as the Lord, saving Larry. I prayed for many years for him to go to church with me and be saved, and it happened.
Amen.
But at least I got that peace now. I know that before he passed,
Praise
where
the
he's
Lord.
at now.
Amen.
So I praise, and then I think to having somebody that goes to church with me.
Amen.
And for all of my good Christian friends that we can fellowship and have such a good time with. I
Amen.
enjoy being with each one of them.
Amen. Thank you, Miss Joyce. That was a pleasure leading him to the Lord. And if you have a loved one and you get me how to get hooked up with them, I promise you I'll do the best I can to never close the door. I'll go witness to them, try to witness to them. Anybody else, while we're over on this side, want to testify to the Lord? I'll tell you he's got a good testimony. Oh, Ralph here, if he testifies, I don't know if he wants to praise God or not, but I mean, I'm not trying to shoo him in, nothing like that. No. But he had, I don't know if he's testified here before, but real blessing, amazing. Anybody else then, over here? Okay, I'm not going to pull teeth. Anybody on this side? Wes, go ahead, buddy. Amen.
I want to thank the Lord for His love
Amen.
and mercy and grace to love a drunk like I was. And God used a retired railroad man to lead me to Christ.
Amen.
And when I thank Conrad Meyer and his wife and Jackie and his little boy Andrew prayed for me. And after Jesus saved me, the people where I worked not only trained horses for the Cheddars, but cleaned up their shop, their Thermo King shop. They could tell I was a difference in my attitude. And all things like that, and of course, I was married back then, not to Rose, but when Jesus saved me and cleaned me up, she couldn't handle the change in my life. She begged me to come back drinking, and I said, no, I won't do that.
Wow.
And so she divorced me, and she told people around Sioux Falls that I had jumped off the deep end, I'd get over it. Well, I haven't got over it.
Amen.
I was saved
That's
in
good, Wes.
September of '85, on the 15th of September of '85, in a little greenhouse where I lived. And of course, I prayed for a born-again Christian wife, and I switched build. I was raised Lutheran, and they didn't preach against sin, so I thought I could live any way I wanted to and go to heaven when I die. And when Conrad Meyer read to me, there'll be no drunks in heaven, I thought them Lutheran pastors been lying to me. And same Bible. And I have cousins that are lost. I have a brother, Dennis Wendland, he's very religious, and he wants to argue about losing your salvation, which he don't even have yet. And of course, when Bruce Lang showed the video of this place at the track building, God spoke to my heart and told me to come here after I retired and come here and help make Bible tracks.
Amen.
And
Been here
and I
since.
had been praying for 17 years after my divorce and marrying Rose. I prayed 17 years for a born-again Christian wife, and I never dated, and I just prayed to God for a born-again Christian wife. God brought me 900 miles. To meet Rose. And I want to thank Jesus for all of that.
Amen.
17 years of married life. And now she's in heaven.
Amen. Yeah.
And I know Silas helps me a lot too. And I want to thank Silas for that. And I want to thank, well, I was sick a year ago, a little over a year ago, for 5 months. I want to thank the church and pastor for paying all my bills and helping my wife and all of that. I'm so thankful for everything. And I want to pray for Nick Ham. Silas went to see him the other day, and Nick said he hasn't got long to live, so we really need to pray for Nick and pray for the family, his sisters and brothers. Well, the brother gets along, but some of the sisters don't, so they've got to pray for that.
Okay.
And I just want to thank Jesus.
Amen.
You know, when I was young, went to school, I couldn't read, but I could read music. I could read notes, but I couldn't read words. And after Jesus saved me, I could start reading words. So I want to thank Jesus for that.
Amen.
I could go to Lincoln High School at night in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and learn how to read at Eastside Baptist Church, too. And thank
Amen.
Bruce and Mary DeLang for showing me the video of the whole church, and that God spoke to my heart to move me here. And now you'll have to put up with me until I pass away.
Amen. Well, Lord bless you, Wes. And, pray for Wes, because this is the first Thanksgiving without Miss Rose. And, holidays, when you lose a loved one, they are hard. They were tough. Amen. Anybody else? You want to praise the God? Yes, sir. Go ahead. Huh? Yeah, come on up here. This is hot. Yeah, come on up here. Amen. Amen. I'm not, see. Go ahead. Amen.
I think this Psalm 34 should sound somewhat familiar to us. Weren't we there Sunday? Yeah.
I think
Or Sunday before, I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, I want to tell you a story. And I'm not a great storyteller. I'm not a Jack back there, Schuler. He tells stories like other people can't even think about. But I want to tell you a story about a young man who fell in love with an 18-year-old girl when I was 20. Okay? I'm not talking about you, okay? And I was a Methodist. Now, some of you have no idea what that means. I'll tell you what it doesn't mean. You're not really very well disciplined when it comes to the expectations God has for each of his children. I didn't know what the word salvation meant. Okay? I didn't know what loyalty to his word meant. I was taught that you come to Sunday school and you come to church at that little white Methodist church in Lytle, Ohio. Does anybody know where Lytle is? I know you do because you spent half your childhood there. But the point is there's a little white Methodist church there, and that's where I went to church. But I knew all along something was missing. Now, I wasn't taken to church by my parents. Neither one of them was really what you would call a well-rounded, well-standardized Christian family, so to speak. But I realized something, and I didn't know what it was till several years later. There was something missing in my life. So I got married. We got married. I guess she married me. I don't know why she did that, okay? I told her many times, I said, were you blind or are you just desperate? Which one was it, okay? But we got married, and we've made it 55 plus years, which is a pretty good stay. But the point is here, okay? I want to go back to what the pastor preached in this in Psalm 34, verse 1. And it says, I will bless the Lord. And if you remember correctly, that bless means more than we think it does, okay? And it says, at all times. Now, I'm not stepping on toes, but I only have a tendency to learn from what I see. That's just the way I am. When I observe something, I process it in such a way, can I learn something from it? All right? So it says at all times. Does that mean Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving? No. It means at all times. Chuck, what's all mean? It means all. It's pretty simple. It's 3 little letters, okay? At all times. And Joyce and I were talking this morning when her great spouse was talking about some treasure island or something like this. And we got to start talking to each other about why is it we have such a difficult time praising the Lord? Why? Thanking him. I mean, I get up in the morning, first thing I do is say, thank you. I'm vertical as opposed to, okay? I like being vertical, okay? I enjoy my life. I enjoy things that are around me. But I've also learned something else from observation. This word love, okay, it means so many different things. Some people love their puppy. They love their little cat. They love their car. They love their boat. Do you know that anything that's inanimate is incapable of loving you back? I'm not a poor man. I'm not a rich man. But I'm a rich man in a lot of ways because the Lord gives me everything that I need. Everything that I need. How many other places do you know where you can go and every morning you get what? New mercies. I can't even order that from Reader's Digest. I praise him because it's so easy to do. My wife gets so tickled at me sometimes. I'm driving on the interstate, and you get on an entrance ramp, and you know there's some people who do not know how to get on an interstate highway, okay? And I do have admission, it's good for the soul, or confession, whatever. I have difficulty with some drivers. I won't tell you what age group or what sexual group, okay? I just have trouble with some drivers, and I have a tendency to voice my opinion on their driving skills. And she'll say, do you know who's listening? And I have to say, yes. And I have to confess, okay? But here's my point. It is so simple to recognize all the things that you have been given to you by our Lord Jesus Christ, our Father God. All the things that I need, everything. I am probably one of the richest people in the world. You know why? Because I have the most rich father there ever was.
Amen. Amen.
And everything I've got, he's lent to me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of my ability to create things, which he did everything. It's not my ability to buy things because I may have the money to do so. It's because he's granted me these things. He's blessed me every day. And it's so difficult for me to understand why Christians sometimes get so weak-kneed. And look at that. What is there, 25, 30 of us in here? And every Thanksgiving we have this special meeting. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Bragging on the Lord shouldn't be get up here, I want to twist your arm, okay? If we feel like we have to be purchased, persuaded, dissuaded, whatever word you want to use, to praise the Lord, then we've got some things we need to amend. Yeah. And I mean that, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. No, you know that, okay? There's only one perfect. But my point is this. It's very simple to get into a habit. We got married 50-plus years ago. And the pastor who was marrying us wanted to know if we wanted to write our own vows. I knew it was a syllable or a vowel, but I didn't know what. Okay, our own vows. And Wanda said no. And I said, well, why can't we? She says, God's word already has the vows for marriage. We don't need to amend them. And I thought, well, you crazy woman. She was right. I'm supposed to what? To love, honor, cherish, well, all those adjectives that are in there, okay? It's right from the Bible, pretty much, okay? I don't have to amend God's word. I don't have to look for something to say, this is what I meant. No, what I mean to say to him is what I truly feel in my heart because of him. And it's so easy to do. Dude, just think about it. Try this tomorrow morning and see how it works and give me a hint Sunday how well it worked for you. First thing you do when you get up in the morning, don't go to the coffee pot. Second of all, don't say anything to any living person. Before you even crawl out of that bed, or you want to crawl and get on your knees, just say, thank you, Lord. Amen. Just thank you. It's one of the fewest, I've said it last year, I'll say it every year at this time. It's the two words that are missing from the English language anymore. Thank you. And it's so simple. Now, does my dog thank me? Oh, no. Does the meter reader who comes into the house once a month thank me? No. Okay? But you know what my wife does every morning? Every day, may not be in the morning. She thanks me for being her husband. Isn't that what God wants me to do? He's my father. All he asks is just remember me. Remember me. Pray to me. Prayer is a form of worship, folks. It's a form of communication. You know, people say, how do I get a hold of the Lord? He'll answer when you call upon him. Every time. May not be today that he grants what you've prayed for. I pray for my father-in-law, okay? I pray for each of you. Why? Because I love you. If I can love you like that, how much more do you think he loves me? Amen. He gave it all to me. What's the one song that says, such as a warm as I can't remember what song that's in, but
Amazing Grace.
it's in there, right?
Saves a wretch like me, or
Yeah.
is that at the cross?
At the cross. And you know, that's a pretty descriptive word of what I am. I'm a sinner saved by grace, just as you are. But I thank him every day. I covet your prayers for me, for my family. God bless you. Amen. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Praise the Lord. Amen. Amen. Somebody else. I don't. Oh, amen. Brother Madisha, right behind you. Amen.
I thank the Lord for saving me. I don't think I need this mic. I've been said quite a few times. I've been called loudmouth. But anyway, if I started thanking the Lord for everything that I have right now, we wouldn't get out of here until midnight.
Amen.
He has been so good to me. He's blessed me in so many ways. I was
Amen.
just at the doctor the other day getting a physical, and the nurses down at the VA, you know, they have to ask the question, are you suffer from any things about Vietnam, or are you depressed? It's just like the Lord puts words in my mouth. I'm too blessed to be depressed.
Amen. That's good right there.
But anyway, I think most of you know I'm just a plain old farm boy from down in Adams County. And I've had 3 brothers that, yeah, they kind of talked me into doing things that just about cost me my life. We went through a lot.
Amen.
And I just keep remembering October 21st, 1984. I'd done so many stupid things before I got saved. Good Lord sent an angel down
Yeah.
and said, you know what? God told me to tell you that if you don't accept his son as your Savior, you're going to kill yourself. So I accept him as my Savior, and I've
Amen.
never been the same since.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
But like I say, God has blessed us so much. My wife and I and my daughter too.
Amen.
We have been blessed more than anybody. I could probably say I'm the most blessed man in this building right now. We've got things that we never dreamed we would have. I thank the Lord every day. I'm like Brother Supanger. That's the first things I say out of my mouth every morning.
Amen.
God, thank you for everything you've done for me. And like I say, he's just my rock.
Amen.
If it wasn't for Jesus saving me, I would be a dead man today. Sometimes think, Lord, are you sure I wasn't supposed to be a cat? Because there have been 5 times I should have been dead. But he brought me through every time.
Amen.
Motorcycle accident, I can almost just remember laying there thinking, this is it. I'm a goner. I'm not going to make this one. And it's just like God sent an angel down and said, no, you're my son.
Amen.
I'll tell you when you can come home. And I don't worry about that. I used to think about it, man. What's going to happen if I die, man? Now, just like the Bible says, absent from the body, present with the Lord. And I really say, I'm not looking forward to death, but I'm sure not afraid of it.
Amen.
We're not afraid of it.
Praise the Lord.
I want y'all to know we love you. This
Amen.
is our church family. When you get older, you start thinking about how much the church family means to you.
Amen.
And you people are. You're all just like family to us.
Amen.
We love each and every one of you. If there's anything we can ever do, don't hesitate to call us, because we'll do everything we can for you. We love y'all.
Amen.
I just thank the good Lord for being so good to me.
Amen. Praise the Lord. There's one thing you could do, Ted. You brought my daughter an apple pie once. I've never tasted your apple pie. I've only heard about it. That's terrible. I did learn that from Jack. Jack does a lot of things. He teaches me a lot of bad habits.
Well, you know, the story is, out of the 4 boys, I was the homeliest kid that Mom had. So she said, you need to learn to cook, because you're not going to ever find a woman.
Oh, man. Oh, I just, praise the Lord. Hey, somebody else, you want to brag on God? Tracy over here would like to testify. Amen. Amen. That was pretty good. Praise the Lord. Amen.
Well, I took you serious when you said that we were going to do this, start out.
Sure.
So I'm either cheating or
That's all right. Amen.
I wrote some stuff down. Jackie and I were, when we were doing our devotion this morning, the verse that we were reading was Thessalonians 5:18. In everything, give thanks, for this is the will of God. And when we were talking about that, we have to take that verse seriously.
Amen. Amen.
Give
Amen.
thanks. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
Everything. So I wrote down the things that I'm thankful for. And but before I do that, I just need my verse that I always my go-to verse is Habakkuk 3:18. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. And the things that I'm thankful for a mom that wanted to take 2 little girls to church. I'm thankful that church saw, as she looked out her front door and across the field, was a church that preached the truth about salvation.
Amen.
I'm thankful my mom got saved at that church. I'm thankful for a visitation program that led to my dad being saved when a couple of men from the same church came by. I'm thankful for parents that took me to church. I was drugged to church. I was taken, but I wanted to go. I don't remember a time not going or not wanting to go. I'm thankful for a dad who took my sisters and I to every youth meeting our church was a part of, because on November 12th, 1977, that's where I accepted the Lord as my Savior.
Amen.
44 years ago, about 10 days ago.
Amen. Amen.
I'm thankful for growing up in church and for parents who said no and set standards and didn't waver in their beliefs. I'm
Amen.
thankful for their decision in 1981 to move their membership to this church, Fellowship Baptist Church. I'm very thankful for my church and for the almost 41 years that we've been here.
Wow.
I'm thankful because this is where I met Jackie. I'm very thankful for him. God has been good
Amen.
to give us almost 40 years of marriage, and I thank the Lord for each day. I'm thankful for the 3 children that God has blessed us with,
Amen.
the 5 grandsons, and our son-in-law. I'm thankful for my pastor and Miss Annette and the love and concern that they have for us as a church, but as individual families too. I'm thankful for prayer, for answered prayer, for God's mercy and grace, his long-suffering, his gentleness with us. A few things that I'm thankful for.
Amen. Praise the Lord. That'll work right there. Wow. Amen. That's good stuff. Oh. Anybody else? Okay. Amen. Amen. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
People become sympathetic people to other things, and they're flooding away from the truth. The truth is another statement I learned a long time ago that the truth sometimes hurts.
Yeah.
You know what? You pick this up sometimes, it hurts. But it's a good, healthy hurt.
Amen.
I've got to have something in my life
Yeah.
that is Jesus Christ. That's
Amen.
all it is, okay? You're exactly right. You may be the ugliest guy in that town. Look where he is now. Okay? The ugliest guy in Warren County.
Hey, I didn't say that. Yeah, he's your child. Amen. Yeah. Amen.
That's not an elected position.
Right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Amen. Amen. Yeah. Yeah. I do believe the Lord's going to bless us. I really do. Amen. Amen. Well, I remember the first time I went to his house. He came to church first time, and I could tell, it's something. Sometimes a visitor come, and I don't know if they come just because they feel like they have to or something. He came, and you could tell he was excited to be in church. And I'm preaching, and you can tell when people are listening and they're with you. And man, and I went and visited him that week, and he goes, "Man, I want to join." When he started, he asked me some questions. I will come for a month before you do that, man. And it's been a blessing, Brother Blood. Go ahead, Brother Silas. Yep, I'll let him. Go ahead and say something. You got something to say, Silas? We'll get you, Miss Bev. We got you.
I feel like Jim Elliott, the guy from Missionary to Ecuador, how he's scatterbrained. Remember how he preached? He was like a horse eating grass in the pasture. He takes a bite over here and a bite over there.
Well, that's good. I got to remember that.
That's from Walter L. Wilson. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But anyway, I want to thank the Lord for my church family here. I didn't do that.
Amen.
I need to brag on the Lord more. I just feel like I don't give the Lord enough reverence in my life. And it's like it's a reality, but then it ain't a reality. It's like it had the full effect of really what really happened to me. It just hasn't hit me full effect yet, and I want it to. That way I can get, I want to get on fire. I really do. And but I'm thankful for you all.
Amen.
And your faithfulness and your influence on me, Pastor, and your help, and Brother Jack back there. And what a blessing he's been, Brother John, all of you. I can say the same to all of you. I just thank you for all of you. I'm thankful for this church and just the people in it and how they're so much different. You all are so much different from the people out there.
Yeah.
And it's just helped me greatly. And I'm thankful to the Lord for how good he's been to my lost family. And we don't give him sometimes enough praise for that because I have a lot of alcoholics and drug addicts in my family. And a lot of them are still alive. And that's the mercy of God and the long suffering. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm just keep praying for them. And again, I just praise the Lord for all you. Thank you.
Amen. Go ahead and give Miss Bev the microphone. You'll need it. That way people at home can hear you. They can't hear you. Put it up close there.
Like this?
You got it.
I got it. Well, I hadn't really thought about talking tonight because I've enjoyed hearing everybody.
Sure.
But I had to respond to Dawn. When I worked in child welfare, when I first got out of college, a 4-year-old said to me, and this is in response to what you just said, the truth never hurt nobody. Now, a 4-year-old said that. But since I am speaking, first of all, Pastor, thank you, and Miss Annette, for how good y'all been. I just love you both. And I'm more than thankful for my daddy and my mom.
Amen.
They were amazing.
Amen.
My kids are great, and I love all of you people. And I'm so blessed to be at this church. because I had been to other churches and folks. I tell you, I got to see Elvis in concert. But I don't want to go to a rock concert when I come to church.
Yeah, amen.
I want to hear what I grew up on. And I guess my motto is, because he lived, I can face tomorrow.
Amen. There
No
you
matter
go.
what comes.
Amen. 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 You guys are real. That's why I love you. Tell you what. Amen to that. Oh yeah, we're a mess. Amen. You got a mess for a pastor, and oh man. Yeah, come on up here. Yeah, go ahead.
I first want to thank him for saving me when I was about 10 years old. I was at a little Baptist church, Beech Grove Baptist Church, in Kentucky. After I got saved, the preacher took me down the gravel road to the creek, baptized me. And I want to thank him that he's always been there for me. I've never always been there for him, but he's never let me down. And I couldn't do what Brother Wayne sung about tonight. If I did, the Apostle Paul wouldn't have anything on me. He said, name them one by one. If I tried to name them one by one, the Apostle Paul wouldn't have lasted as long as I would have lasted. That's just like the other day, my wife and I were sitting at home in the backyard on the deck, and we got to talk about how God's blessed us. I said, did you ever think, and I won't go into what all we talked about, and she looked at me and she said, not in your wildest dreams would I ever thought we would be here today. Because 50 years ago, when I got married to an 18-year-old girl, I had to borrow $5 off my future brother-in-law to get my marriage license. How about that one? And anyway, tonight, I want to apologize to a few of you. I've not got around to talk to all of you, but I have got around to talk to the officers of the church. And the officers and me are in agreement with what I'm about to say. But I want to thank the Lord mainly for one thing, for my pastor. Because your church, you don't know what that man's been through this year. I don't know what that man's been through all, but I know enough that if I'd been through what he'd been through, I'm not sure I wouldn't have thrown my hands up and walked out that door. But I want to thank God he's got enough backbone that he couldn't do it. Because he knew how much the Lord loved him and how much the Lord put him here. And I also want to thank him for that lady sitting right there. Because behind every good man is a good woman. And I want to thank the church that he's not only my pastor, she's not only my pastor's wife, they're my friends. And I heard a preacher preach one time, if you can say you've had 5 friends in your life, you can count yourself blessed. You know. But he's my friend. He's also my outlaw. I gotta put a little humor in it. Let him know he didn't pay me enough not to say that one. No, he didn't pay me, I'm just lying. But I'd like to call Miss Annette up here to stand by her husband, because she has stood by that man. You know, I'm probably one of the closest ones, me and my wife, because we are outlaws, in-laws, whatever you want to call us. And I know a lot more about it probably than most of you, but they're a great couple. And God has blessed this church with that couple like you wouldn't believe. But anyway, I got around, Pastor, to the men of the church, and I offered them, see what they wanted to do, and they wanted to give you a Christmas gift.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
thank you for being okay.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Amen. You're gonna my wife's now going to preach. Just kidding.
I do, so thankful for the Lord. We're saving, my husband and I, it was a year apart from one another. And when we get up in our morning time, I always want to be sure we have time to read his word before we depart for the day. And this morning too, we read Psalm 34. And I know his verse isn't there of his life verse, but there's one in there that I said, I said when I got saved, it was when he preached on hell. I said I was so fearful. I said, in this verse here, my life verse is in this chapter as well. And I'm just thankful that God uses his word to show us those things. And also it says in Proverbs, the beginning of
Fear of the Lord.
Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. God shows us those things. At such a time in our lives that we need to go to him for that guidance and wisdom. And it's just amazing to go to his word and all the promises we have in his word, and I'm so thankful for them. Because out there in that world, there's so many broken promises, so many broken vows that people take just so lightly, and they just the terminology that they use from God's word, and it's not even for real. Psalm 34, it says here, and I also love that one where it says, "Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together." But it says, "I sought the Lord, and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears." At that time, when I asked the Lord to save me that day on August 8th, 1988, that fear was gone. I remember just the preaching on hell, and he was so vivid of what the unsaved would be facing. And I knew if I walked out of that tent that morning and anything would have happened to me, I would have been in that same description where he was describing. And then in verse 5, it says, "They looked unto him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed." I could walk away out of that tent that morning and just thank God that for he saved me. I'm thankful for the lady that led me to the Lord at that altar. I still remember that day so vividly, and I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful for our church. And I think of all the time this whole last year and the year before, it was just such a hard time. And I heard somebody recently share a testimony of our church. And we're not a mega church, but it was just so thankful, and I was so thankful, just so sweet to hear her say what led her to our church was the people here were loving, they were caring, they were willing to, if somebody would ask for help, for her, she says they were there to help me. And she goes, and it wasn't because I have to, it's that they wanted to. And I'm so thankful for that. I see that in so many of our ladies here when I work with them, the willingness from their hearts. And I'm so thankful for you, and thankful for our church.
Amen. 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 Love you guys. I'll tell you what. Torture you with I'll lead one song. Rebecca will play the piano for one song. We'll sing 365. Amen. Amen. I want to say I love you guys. Yes. Yes, sir. Amen. Yeah. Amen. Well, they said behind every good man's a good woman. There you go. You're a good man, Howard. I love you guys. I really do. And I could sit here and bring up every one of you guys, but I love you. And it has been a tough year and a half, and I know it. And I joke with people. I joked with Tracy the other day about, can I retire yet? And she said, I think we're going to all retire together, meaning we're going to go up. Amen. And I said, well, that's very well put. And I love you all. And my wife and I joke. We said, well, as long as they want us, we're here. Amen. So let's stand to our feet and sing 365, even if it's the first and last verse. Amen. I won't do it justice like Wayne, but I'll try. Amen. Oh, Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Let's sing that second verse. That's a good verse. Amen. I hope your roast isn't in the oven, or it's really roasted. Let's sing a second verse. When through the woods and forest glades I wander, and hear the birds sing sweetly in the trees, when I look down from lofty mountain grandeur, and hear the brook and feel the gentle breeze, then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Verse 3, and when I think that God his Son not sparing sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin. And sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Now just pause 1 second now. Think about this. Good to see Chad make it, amen. You know, think about this. You know, I was thinking back, I got saved in 87. There is no way on God's green earth that I thought I'd ever be singing a song in church. I'm not kidding you. I never thought about church. Wes, when you were in a drunken stupor, I bet you never thought you'd be where you're at. All of you. But Modest Shed. Wayne did. He was raised in church, but some of you did. You were maybe raised in church, but man, you asked my wife when we started dating if she'd ever thought we'd be sitting here. God is good. God is good. He is great. Amen. Amen. Let's sing that last one. One of these days, he's coming back. I love you, folks. Amen. Let's sing it now. And Christ shall come with shout of acclamation and take me home. What joy shall fill my heart? Then I shall bow in humble adoration and there proclaim, amen, my God, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. Sing it. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Amen. He's worthy to be praised. Amen. Brother Hall, why don't you got the microphone in your hand, why don't you, amen, or somebody, well, you can turn it down real quick. I thank you for everybody who praised God, because you know what? Man, that was a blessing. It said, the humble shall hear thereof and be glad. My wife and I always say, you guys treat us better than we deserve, and we really mean it, and we love you to death, amen. You know, Hunter, it was such a blessing seeing you get saved, and these young guys, who knows? I think of who knows where they're going to be. You know, it's amazing, amen. It's just, go ahead, Brother Hall, dismiss us in prayer, amen.
Father God, we thank you once again for the chance to be in your house. Father, we thank you for all the testimonies, for all the testimonies of your salvation, your provision, of your love. Father, we thank you for the testimony of this church, for its desire to reach people, for the track league and all that it represents. Father, we just pray you'd help us be faithful to you. Help us, Father, to reach out to those around us, Father, to give them the good news of the gospel that was given to us. Father, we just pray you'd help us to honor and glorify you through all that we do through this place. We love you and thank you. Pray you dismiss us now. It's a good holiday together with our families and bring us back safely Sunday. We love you and praise you now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. You all have a good Thanksgiving. Amen.